Hey guys, welcome to the afternoon trading room here. Hope everyone's doing well. Just jumping on here. Oh, there's Drewski.
Hey, everybody.
Going on? I'm
Well,
gonna get mine up here too.
Yeah, G,
There
you're
we
looking
go.
fancy today. Fancy man.
Fancy.
Yeah.
I got my big water bottle in the background here. I
What's
got
up,
my
guys?
Celsius right here.
I'm not wearing a hat today,
Got my
guys.
glasses here that I don't need the glasses, but they protect my eyes from all these massive screens that we look at all day.
It protects you from those red and green candles.
That's right. I look a little more sophisticated too. All right, guys. So what are we looking at today? What's the trade of the afternoon?
Uh, I can't
I
hear
can't
you.
hear you, Ben.
Nope, sorry, buddy. But Ben sounded very excited. I want you guys to know.
Yes, he did.
He
Mhm.
said, "Here's the deal."
Here's the
Well,
yeah.
here while we're getting and waiting for him, I'll go ahead and share my insight. So here's the deal on the spiders in the SMH. Look at this big drop and now bear flag pattern. You see now that we're starting to form this, and it's a decent bear flag pattern as well as the drop too, right? So we've already looked at the SMH. This is really the main thing I'm watching for the day. Are we going to put in a topping tail today? Are we going to close down here near the bottom, or are we going to break up through the top and then close higher above these resistance trend lines? So, as far as a trade to execute, that doesn't really hit what you're asking. However, this is a critical time and space on the charts to really dictate future price movement. So that's, I think, the biggest thing of the day for me. What about you, G?
Yeah, I mean, overall, I think. Let me pop up mine again here. So again, it's been one of these interesting ones with Nvidia, and I'm really following Nvidia because it tagged the high end of that parallel, right, that we talked about at the on the charts. So this is really key. If Nvidia did sell off and we really just dropped another dollar, maybe dollar 20 from here into the end of the day, you get a topping tail. But another chart that's catching my eye is Microsoft. Look at that possible daily topping tail and all-time highs on Microsoft as well. So definitely, again, don't know where things close today, but these type of things, you start to look as a trader, looking at the bigger macro. Listen, as a day trader, do we really care what's making a daily topping tail? Not so much. As a swing trader, more of a macro view on the market, we certainly want to pay attention to, these type of signals when they're on the mega caps because the mega caps really rule the roost. So if we do start to get some topping tails today on big players, if the semis and Nvidia hit its major level, then we could be talking about some downside coming to the markets. I also think this is a very interesting level on the SMH too. You got your double top, which it just pierced, hasn't confirmed above the double top and went right into this trend line. Now pulling back. Same thing. It's if it sold off this afternoon, you might get a topping tail. Again, it has to fight the volume though. The S&P is very thin again today. Looks like on TradingView, 36 million shares traded. Again, usually that's faulty because they don't report all the trades, but still. Well, one of the things here, Drew, I wanted to show this to you too. So we have this is a wedge pattern that I put on, but really you have that trend line, then you have this, which was the scene of the crime retrace, and then look at this. If we take this low here and we drag it right up there, basically right into that same area there.
Wow. So the trifecta there
Yep,
is, yeah,
all into that area. That's pretty cool.
that is amazing. Plus the I think I've showed you too. I've got the parallel on the spiders too, where even if we do push up, and it's not the spider, excuse me, it's the SPX. But if we do push up a little bit more, there's even more resistance, just slightly higher, right at 63.37 on the SPX.
Mm,
So about 90 points higher. So say if we do, we were talking about this earlier today with Nvidia reaching that $4 trillion mark, and CNBC was boasting about it. And will the market stay afloat for a couple more days before then that selling pressure picks up? And if so, if we do float up, we still have some very, very strong resistance on the SPX in that range.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, you can see that here just briefly here on the top of my chart. This parallel is ever so close to where price action is. Parallel's decent trend or decent parallel too. It's long term coming back all the way to November of 23, moving up on the charts like you see there. So it's all close. It's all just making perfect sense technically for a rapid ascent right into this area to have some sort of pullback. But we'll see. We'll see if the lighter volume, as you said, will outweigh it.
Yep. Yeah, you have this. I don't know if this was that the trend line you were looking at from the 2021 highs connected to these 2024 highs, and that's just a little bit above. It's around 63.60 or so, give or take. It's about 100 points higher, a little over 100 points higher, but that'll be another major level. And so I guess the point being, too, is that when you look at a chart and you have all these lines all kind of converging in a zone, it just tells you that, like, it's not saying that each line is right at the exact same point because they're diverging, but it's this zone here now that is going to be like a minefield for the markets to get through. It's just so much potential resistance.
Right. Oftentimes I think of it kind of like a spider web or like a cradle, just catching price. And in this case, rejecting price.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Jerry says, first time here. Hey, welcome aboard, Jerry. We call out all the trades live. So as you saw there, we did have a banner up on the screen over the lunch break. But all the trades we go through will be announced here in the room, and there won't be any sort of alerts or anything like that sent out. But on your cockpit, you'll have the information displayed right there in front of you. So you'll be able to see if we've entered or exited, but you should have plenty of notice from each one of the traders here about whether or not we're getting in or out of a position.
Yeah. And in all fairness, afternoons are much slower. Although we do have the bond. Oh, actually, the bond auction already occurred. That was 1 o'clock. So it doesn't look like there was really anything. We did get a little weakness, I think, at 1 o'clock. Yeah, right here. It kind of dipped, then popped back up. But all in all, it looks like it was pretty much business as usual. Now, just on the intraday chart, the first thing that jumps out to me is this pattern formation right here. Little bear flag potentially building off of this reversal on the S&P. But again, I would just caveat that and say, for me, on an afternoon with volume this light, I got to have a pretty darn good setup to short. And it's a decent bearish pattern, but it's not good enough. I need other factors in addition. Ooh, one other thing here that's kind of cool to show you guys. Look at this. So the high of this candle, and then we had this little reversal down here. Look at where that matches with the exact open, the low of that first candle, literally to the penny. That's cool.
That is awesome. It's like magic sometimes, technical analysis.
It really is.
It's astrology for men.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
We can, Ben.
Awesome. Remember when we were doing our live Q&A, Drew? Somebody said you and your fun little chart game or whatever you called it.
Yeah, what was it, like a fantastical line or mystical? What was
No, it is like imagination or fantasy land.
The fantasy line
trend
game. Trend line game.
Yeah.
I always say, hey, if I can live in fantasy land and make millions of dollars, I'll live there all day long. You know?
That's awesome. Free cotton candy for life
Mm-hmm.
in Fantasyland.
Kind of a cool trend line here. This is on the 10-minute, but I'm zooming back to the 25th of June. Pretty obvious trend line here that has been being respected by the markets. So again, that would be just a level that if we broke that in the future, that could be a bigger tipping point for the markets to kind of correct or pull back a little bit. Let's see what else we have here. Meta. Meta's still hanging in there. Daily meta chart. Again, just like so many of these charts, it breached its all-time highs and then kind of reversed. Now it's pushing back up. NVIDIA today, for those of you that are just joining, did hit 4 trillion today, but it also coincided with this parallel channel hit, which then saw price come back. You can see on the closed positions, we had a trade on that today, and that was a good little profit. And then we kind of had a pseudo trade on that with stocks as well, because same kind of angle. Pullback in semis makes stocks go up. Let's look at the 10-year yield real quick here. Yep, 10-year yield having a nice little down day after 2, 4, 5 up days in a row, pulling back today. And the dollar, let's take a look at the dollar, the DXY. Looks like the dollar's up fractionally today, but basically flat.
On another note, have you guys seen Plug today? 25%.
Yeah,
I have,
amazing.
yeah.
I did see that.
It's incredible. Good move.
I love this FCEL. I think, Drew, you put it out as a small cap play. I love it.
That's
Just
right, yeah.
basically does the same thing as Plug, just a lot smaller.
Yeah, so hopefully they catch news of this nice bid and assist in pushing it up in price.
There you go.
And, I just noticed something. My favorite stock to trade, obviously, is SMCI, right? I've talked about it plenty of times, but it looks like, even with all this bearish talk that we've been discussing as far as what we see on the SMH on the daily, look what I'm seeing here, at least. Oh, and you already flipped it over. Thank you. Look what I'm seeing here on SMCI on the 10-minute. We've got, this is minor. It's a little one. We've got shoulder, a head, and like a little shoulder. And then even if I drag this up and say that's not good enough shoulder for you, that shoulder, head, and then another shoulder, it's like it's struggling to break out. Should it break and push higher, we're talking a move up to here to basically 5160 all the way up to, depending upon which neckline you want to use, all the way up to about $52. So yeah, even with this negative pressure, I still see we could go up in at least some semis in the near term.
So is anybody interested in shorting Boeing? Boeing's got
Was that what you're gonna say? You were gonna say something. You
No,
sounded
I was
so
gonna.
exciting.
It's fine. It's over. I was gonna talk about it, NVIDIA, and how here. Let me show you. When I was Gareth and I were looking at just gotta figure out this chart to get removed.
Oh yeah,
So-
the VWAP on that thing. That's
So
pretty cool.
here's what NVIDIA was doing. Right, it was bouncing between this this VWAP and the lower multiplier band. It didn't hit it right here. This is on the 1-minute chart. Got rejected. Just keeps getting rejected at the VWAP. So now I'm not 100% sure, but I would assume that Dr. B would say that this would favor a move to the downside. But it's just cool to finally see a chart, because usually they cut through them and then they come back and then they kind of do what they want. But this is clear rejection once price action got below the VWAP. It's just really cool to see.
Interesting. Yeah. Abdallah saying the 10-year auction was delayed till 2 o'clock. All right, I didn't know that. That's kind of probably not a good sign, right? Is it because demand was so weak they had to give it an extra hour? Crazy.
So you're talking about Boeing before, Ben. Were you gonna short that?
No, I was asking if anybody else is interested.
Let's play a game. Let's see what. All right, so everyone look at your Boeing
233.96.
chart. Look at your Boeing chart and type in where you think the short would be, and let's see if Gareth agrees with you. I'll put up where my line is.
233.96.
233.96 is Lawton's answer, and this is for everyone in the room, so you guys can type in what you think the short level would be on this.
Just
Or-
intraday right here, from what I see on the chart, 230 and 12 cents.
230.07.
Okay. All right.
I think Ben and I are honing in on the same
This is what
thing.
they say about Elliott Wave. Ask Elliott Wave people like for the different waves, and you get a different answer from every single one of them.
Which cycle are you in the Elliott wave cycle?
Russell saying 243.17. All right. Anyone else? Anyone else want to type in your answer?
243.17.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
that's
I
for a day
think,
trade. That's
I
mean,
think, I think 249 is a great level, but I don't think it's going to hit there today.
I mean, let's caveat it with it should be within a few dollars, right? Maybe like $5. Because otherwise, what do we really think it's going to get there today? I mean, may
Right.
not, even my level may not. But here, I'll show you guys. All right, so let me just see if there's any other answers. 230.16, 244.20, 234, 235, 240. All right, 232, big seller there. Okay, you're looking at other data. I'm just strictly looking at the chart. I'm going to put up my trend line here, and this is where I would be interested. Boom. Let's see, what price is that at? 231, basically just below 232, maybe 231.75. Looks like a great trend line there.
That
So
lines up with Frederico's 232, as you said.
there you go.
And we all have different levels. I think they're all pretty decent levels. I think Ben's yours is a fib retrace.
No, just a 230 Pierce.
Are we playing our Price is Right rules? So it's my level or the closest person below? Or
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if Boeing keeps going up. Let's see who is right.
Yeah, I
Well,
got 230.12.
I might actually get into it at 230.07.
all right. Ooh, Benny's looking to. Jack says 230.08. So right, 1 penny away from yours. Yeah, Charles saying between them and all of you, you have your initial entry and all the ads. That's a good point.
I mean,
I guess we got to go with the 120th position then, right? Because there's so
I mean,
many.
my level's
Right.
$4 higher than yours, Ben. So it's all you.
Nice. So actually, what we really should do too is let's try to see what, if anything, aligns here. Does a fib? Let's see. The fib's a little higher. The 786 is around 238. That doesn't
Oof,
really align, but
no.
you know.
Well, you've also got this upsloping parallel channel. It's not the best parallel channel.
Let me see. Let me see your screen. Hang on. Let me put your
Oh,
screen
yeah.
up. All right. Oh yeah, that's a decent one. Yeah, well, it looks like it's
So
almost
you got a
breaking
couple
here.
pivots, right? That's what I'm looking at. I mean, I can force a trade, right?
You can do anything, Ben.
All right, so
Yes.
I like this game. Let's play another one. All right, so I'm gonna put up a chart, and you guys give me where this is gonna be a first swing trade. Either we'll go with the swing trade long. A swing trade long on this name. All right, here's the
Circle.
chart.
It's
The great
circle.
unveiling, JetBlue. All right, so
JBLU.
where do we buy this as a swing trade long? You can zoom in, you can zoom out, you can do anything you want here. I actually don't have a level yet. I'm gonna have to do it. I'll do it, but I'll show you guys once you guys have your answers, and we'll try to figure it out. So it looks like a bearish pattern here. To me, this would be bearish. Down move, inside
Yeah.
bar.
Looks
So it's
bearish.
probably coming down. I mean, the obvious one, I think we'd all think maybe double bottom.
Yeah, that's my
Right.
level. That's my
Yeah.
level.
The only problem is it's hit it. This will be the third hit, which third hits usually still yield bounces. But what's below that? Let's look at below. Oh, actually, you know what? This is more than the third hit, so I'd actually be very careful there. Look at this. This goes back a long way. Holy cow.
This bear flag pattern that's currently going on also has a measured move down to the double triple bottom that you're pointing out.
Interesting.
So it looks like it is heading there.
Just to be different. So we have this level here, and again, it might be a little risky around 335. But then for me, I'd start to say, okay, well, maybe we use these pivots here. Ooh, wouldn't that be an interesting one if it ever gets down to $2.15?
I like that.
Yeah.
Here, let me show you something why this is a really risky play. I've got some old analysis on this chart. Let me flip it over to mine real quick. See, we had an inverse head and shoulders pattern that's failed. So
Yeah.
here, this is the neckline. of that pattern, and so we're forming a bear flag as you've already highlighted right underneath that area. So a couple of things can happen. This bear flag can play out and move down here to the bottom, or if we break this wedge. If we break the wedge, now we're talking about this has only been tagged twice. We could end up getting another hit of support and actually moving up from here. Maybe that would that's what makes this a tricky play since it's in between stuff, right? We will be waiting for a move down here. This bear flag pattern, if it fails, we're going to be moving higher on the charts. So this is a tricky one right here. It's not really, it's right in the middle of, do I buy it and just average down because it's so low on the charts? And that's probably the correct thing to do. I would probably say is a more aggressive and conservative play, go light and enter here, pierce a $4, and then just basically add every 50 cents or so down.
Yeah,
that would be a more of aggressive play.
All right. I'm gonna try this different view for us. Well, that's not a bad view too.
Since we're so low on the charts, I can't see JetBlue going to, under $1. I mean, anything can happen, but we're so
Think
low.
about this, right? If we ever go into a recession and it's already trading here, I mean, is it that? Isn't it feasible that it could go to that level? I mean, I don't know. But
It is. Well, hey, we went into one, 21? JetBlue was way higher. Let's see, last time. Let's go like 07, 08. Well, we don't even, here, let's see. So 08 low is the 08 actually made the lowest on the chart was 09. Yeah, just under $3. So we're talking $1.50 from that low. That makes me more interested to get in at that inclining trend line then just risk price going down lower, and then I can average. Now you could have things like, bankruptcy. Airlines have had notorious problems with receiving taxpayer bailouts, right? So with all that analysis, even though the chart says it could go lower, I'd probably be more interested to get in with a small, like dip my toe in the water somewhere around $4. All right, final answer.
Nice.
I'll flip it over to G. So what is your thought?
Oh, I actually didn't. I mean, mine was potentially down here, but I think you could still play that, like the line you were saying, that down sloping trend line, just to start a position, and then you just kind of have to do what you're talking about, which is dollar cost average. Just be ready for any stock trading at this level. You have to be ready for extra volatility.
Yep. Very much like what, I mean, heck, a lot of people in here probably are members of our swing trading service too. And much like what we did with Plug. Plug was going down, we were averaging, when it pop up, we take some off. And so I'd probably play that route with a stock like that, being that beat up on the chart. Oh, Charles. Hey, look at that. Charles saying, yay, that's what and why I picked $4. Nice, Charles.
Trin is asking if SOX has a bull flag. And we talked about it earlier that the SMH and stuff has a bear flag. So yes, because it's the inverse. If you're talking about intraday, I mean.
I don't have anything intraday on Palantir, Federico. Yeah, Palantir's not doing a ton. It's got the slow grind up like a lot of the rest of the market. So if you notice, SOXX is slowly moving up as well. Palantir is just doing the same thing.
You know what I found here too, just by looking at this chart, Gareth? Maybe some of our members can pinpoint this, especially after we had our educational sale with the sleeper hold. Guys, what is this?
Oh, yeah.
That's a circle. Well, that's an oval.
Yeah, it is. That's Ben. He wins the high five of the afternoon session.
It is, isn't it?
Yep. Yep. What is
You're
that,
welcome,
folks? Right there on the charts. Right into resistance trend line with that neckline. The previous neckline for the inverse head and shoulders. It's about as clear as day right there too. I think Charles, was speaking to just the other week, and he said, I think it was Charles, and forgive me if I've gotten the wrong name, but he said he and his daughter were watching Sleeper Hold, and his daughter was into swing trading. So I told him, I was like, all right, take the course. And how I like to find different swing trades is I utilize all the information in that course, and on the end of the week, over the weekend, pull up the weekly charts and utilize the factors in that course to find good trade setups for swing trades. This would have been a great one, even if you took it at the close of that week. Prices dropped 20+% before getting a bounce.
Yeah, big drop on Google here all of a
That
sudden.
was
Wow.
huge. Yeah.
Whoa.
All right, so let's see if this continues down. Do you guys have any levels? I'd be interested around 169.50 maybe. And there's a gap fill at 166.60 as well.
That's a continued decent drop.
Oh,
I'm
deep.
looking for
4% move.
news.
You should Google it.
You're dumb. I mean, Amazon had a big drop too earlier. A 1% drop.
Google's already getting a bounce. That 10-minute drop actually pierced a parallel that Google's been fighting to get back up in and stay in. Here,
Yeah, but getting a pretty decent bounce. Well, unless it really starts to go low, I don't think there's a trade here yet.
right. And you can see that right here, this parallel. If I flip to the daily, see Google's been rejected so many times out of that parallel. And then
Joseph said, sorry, I was just going to say the news here. OpenAI just announced they're releasing their own browser. Wow.
Yeah, that'll hurt business.
Yeah.
It's due to tariffs. It's a drop on Google.
Well, they're releasing a browser with search.
Yeah, I think a lot of their search results come from overseas, from Google, so they could be getting tariffs.
What's interesting
on
is semis are actually inching up a little on this. You see SOX is now pulling back a little bit more here.
My entry for stocks is still at $7.16.
Lawton's
Sorry,
level
my
on.
level on SOX is
There you go.
$7.16 for a long on SOX. 7.16. Should have come down there.
And my short on SOX L is 27.37.
You're gonna short SOX Sol L?
If you're in SOX S, yeah, might as well, right? I'm just kidding.
I was just like, I was like,
Really
what?
confused. I know. I was just kidding.
$7.16.
No, I'll leave the SOX trades to you, Lon.
Yeah, Ken, when news hits like that, the reaction is algorithmic when it's that quick. Meaning that algorithms, they're scanning the internet for news like that, and they'll automatically sell. They're computer programs that are looking for keywords, and that's why you get that big overreaction. And I'm sure there's some retail and other institutions in there, but really, it's mostly algorithmic.
It's faster than I can find.
Yeah, they know immediately. And now with AI, man, I can only imagine how fast. But bounce back. I mean, actually, to be honest, that's for as much as that news sounds bad, it's not that big of a move now.
I mean, is it that big of a deal that they're launching their own browser? I mean, I know that they get a lot of revenue from ads on Chrome and stuff, but
Yeah.
Well, not only that, but their search engine optimization and stuff like that, right? So they have people advertise based on those keywords, and then.
But I don't think people are going to stop advertising on Google search just because OpenAI has an AI search function. You know.
No, but there's going to be a lot of advertisers that may switch,
Yeah.
right? And so they could, if Google's not getting the eyes on the traffic, then the people who are purchasing them, there's not going to be quite the fight.
What if
for-
Google
for it.
says like to OpenAI, you guys aren't allowed, like you're not allowed to use our website, anything on our website, to train your AI, to pull data for your AI search.
Yeah,
I don't think they can do that. Yeah.
Can you not
Yeah,
do
because
that?
Google
Well,
doesn't
it's public.
Because
control
they
the
don't own
internet.
they don't own the information.
Yeah.
Well, what if they? I guess, but what if like?
Because AI is just using to search throughout all the
Well,
open pages
so
out
if
there.
AI is looking up a bunch of stuff, right? Let's say AI, like for art, for example, right? Like can artists tell, companies like AI companies, you're not allowed to train your robot off of my work? Are they allowed to
No,
do that?
not if it's open on the internet. I don't think so.
I think you
Because then
can,
it
like,
becomes-
just like a song, right? So like you can't use a song unless you get the authorization. You can't use an image, probably unless you
But
get an
but
authorization.
can you use it to train your AI?
Sure, why not?
Yeah. And really, who's to know, right? I mean, unless you
Well,
dive
because
into.
they're making like AI songs. I'm sure you guys have heard, like they made, like you can request Frank Sinatra singing, I don't know, a Kanye West song, right? And they have to train it off of what? They have to get the information of the song, the cadence of how Kanye West sings, and then also like look through all of the recordings of Frank Sinatra's music and his voice and transport and port it over, right?
Mhm.
But those are protected by copyright, but they're just allowed to train them like that and do that. Isn't that kind of insane? I don't know.
Yeah. It's a whole new world. I think that's the bottom line is this. Yeah, there's a lot of things that we all have to worry about. How fast is AI gonna track down all your passwords with quantum computing, right? Or break your passwords, or is it watching, compiling everything you do online, and then it's gonna know every little thing about you?
Dweeb saying you can disable bots to crawl your page for information, but then you will lose search engine optimization's ranking with that.
Yeah.
And that's really the bottom line, right? You want the traffic, and then where you got the traffic, advertisers are going to come.
Hmm.
That's bottom line. If
Charles
you have
saying, so
less
likely
visit,
more legal battles to come in that regard. And I would say, yep, just as usual. Who's gonna win out on this? The lawyers.
Oh, yep, 100%.
Morgan and
Always
Morgan.
do.
Yeah.
Oh, did you guys see that drop on Boeing? Boom, there it is. That freaking trend line break.
But you didn't take it.
No, I was waiting for a retrace. Remember, I said I
Ah,
was going to get back
true.
in. I was going to go to 230.07. Just needed to get back up there. Yeah, it'll be an interesting battle for sure to see what happens with the AI bots and stuff, and
Yeah,
the
it will
search
be.
engines. And I mean, people have tried it before. Bing has tried to do search engines, and Yahoo's tried to do search engines, and I think still most people head to Google.
Yep.
Well, when the phrase Google it is synonymous with your brand, yeah. I was just thinking about, we were talking about the algorithms and how fast they react to news before humans can even attempt to click a button to buy or sell. It just makes you think. I don't know how many people out there know, the original, if you go back to the 1920s, there were places called bucket shops where they would literally write the stock price on a chalkboard, and then during the day maybe it would change once, and the next day maybe it would change. But I mean, that was the epitome of news being disseminated, and it would literally take hours, right? Something could happen in Washington D.C., and before you knew about it in New York, it could be a while. Now you have algorithms that instant, like literally milliseconds, they're aware of it. And it just shows you how things have changed for investing and trading over the years.
Yep.
When I first started to get into the stock market and trade a little bit, it was the beginning days. Like E-Trade had just launched, and I could do a trade online, you know, for the first time. And prior to that, it was all you had to call up your broker and say, hey, go buy me X amount of shares, and it, you know, they potentially charged you 2% of whatever you were investing in and out. So I mean,
Such a
things
scam.
now we're trading. I mean, it's a scam, but it was really set up for, you know, wealthy people
Sure.
invested back then. Versus now, you know, you can do it through Robinhood for free essentially, and put, you know, you can even buy partial shares. And so things have just changed, and amazing the advancements in 100 years. Yet we say advancements, and then you look at the stock market in the roaring 20s, and you look at the market now, and it looks very similar. So yeah, some things
Yeah.
change, other things don't.
The what do you say? Deep asked, will trading go fully AI? I don't think so.
I mean, I'm sure there will be certain individuals that or creators that create AI to trade.
Hmm.
The question is, will it crowd out retail? I don't think so, right?
Yeah.
AI is only as good as the programmers that make it, and it's hard to do. I mean, to really factor in the volatility of the market in different scenarios, and yeah, Ask Jeeves. I remember Ask Jeeves in the 2000s.
I used to love that thing as a kid.
Exactly, Federico. Magnitude and speed changed, but greed and fear won't change. 100% right. Humans don't change. That's why I love technical analysis and reading charts, is because those are representations of human emotion, right? Greed and fear is what you're seeing when you're seeing greed candles and vertical moves and big drops. And so, you know, that's why TA can work so well, is because when, you know, even great technical traders, they can always be pushed to panicking, and they get caught up in the same emotion that everyone else does. Yeah, Jake wondering if you know, with because of capabilities of everyone and anyone now being able to trade, I wonder if there's just so much money going around that it will make it harder for a crash to occur. Could be wrong, just a thought. Yeah, I think up to a certain point, but everyone has their limit, right? And the markets have a tendency to always push us to our limits. And they'll push, eventually the markets will push everyone to the limit, to the point where the crash will probably be the equivalent of 1929 and into the 30s. Because humans are still humans. There will be a breaking point. It's going okay. We're still working on it, Jay. Nice fall on Boeing, man. Great pullback there. It's almost a $3 drop. Wow.
Lawton's level was the best. Or no, Drew's level was the best.
My
Was it?
level didn't get hit.
Oh, who said 3012?
I was, yeah, 230. What was it? 230. Here, hang on.
23012. Got up to 23022.
Yeah, but when we were looking at it, it was already after 141. We were looking at it for a retrace there. 230.12 was what I was looking at. Yeah, you were 230.06. So we were looking at it just past 140.
Yep.
And it didn't get back up there from that point. That would have been a nice trade. The more I looked at it too, you know, when it happened with Boeing, we had an inclining trend line that broke. And did you show that, Ben?
Yeah.
Then it retraced to the scene of the crime. on the 1 minute there.
Yep, just got
Yeah.
to it a little too late.
Yeah, exactly. Here, let me show you on the 1 minute. This is right here. We were starting to talk about this trade, I think, right about here, 144.
Well, I think we were talking about it a little bit before that, and we just didn't have that upswing trend line drawn
Well,
in.
as soon as I flipped on this chart, this had already happened. This move right here, and then I was looking at it here, and then that's where I generated the 230.12
Got
figure.
it.
So I at least I didn't look at it until price was here.
I see.
Yeah, but beautiful. Look at that inclining trend line tagged once, twice, 3 times, consolidated, broke, retraced,
Retraced
slide
and
down.
everything.
Yeah, that's beautiful, guys.
Yep, that is. I see a question about AVGO at double top for a short. I'm not really seeing it there. I assume you mean this high pivot here. This is actually more of a cup and handle pattern. It would be looked at as a little bit more bullish. And so if it pushes up, I don't have the guts to short it, at least at double top. Also, keep in mind that the volatility over the last hour has gone to 0, and even going to double top is only a small move up of about $1 from here. So what do you look for? If you have a support base built right here, your upside's $1, or your short is up here, and your downside, your best case is $1. I mean, it's the razor thin margin for error. Micron's having a good down day today, although it's trying to inch up a little bit. There's a gap fill down here. If it dumps into day end at just below $20. But yeah, you can see that the semis are slowly creeping up on this light volume here. Market's just inching up. S&P. Here's kind of an interesting little, you got a little bit of a parallel. Just a very tight range. You can see you had the big pop at the open on the S&P, then the reversal, and then this is where all the volume just disintegrated, and the slow float, basically from 11 o'clock on, has occurred.
For a slower day in the market, that's a remarkable pattern right there.
That is. Let me look at Microsoft again. I was watching that potential. Yeah, right now it wouldn't be a topping tail if Microsoft were to end here. If it sells off a little bit into the end of the day, you would get it. We do have, I guess we already, did we just get the Fed minutes at 2 o'clock?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's basically a non-event, I guess, from what I'm taking. The markets, I mean, are just still floating, so. And then the bond auction, if it was delayed, I mean, those must have come out too, and same thing, a non-event. I guess you got a little pop here at 2 o'clock on the 10-minute chart, which is probably the Fed minutes.
Yeah, it looks like the next economic data we have is on the 15th. We get core inflation rates. Yeah, core inflation month over month and year over year. There you go, John.
So Biku's asking about what's the play on Delta for tomorrow. I would ask you the same thing. What do you think? What are you seeing in the charts? And which direction do you think it's going to go? And if you were going to play this on earnings, where would you play it?
Yeah, this Delta chart's a lot healthier than JetBlue.
Yeah, it is.
I like that parallel you got there on that chart. Who's that, Gareth or Ben?
Yeah, this is my
Yep.
chart here, the parallel.
Yep.
Yeah, it keeps trying. Look, for now, 4 days in a row, it's tried to break above the parallel. Closed on, closed below, and right now it's fractionally below. We'll see if earnings give it that nudge to break up, or if it breaks down, where would the target be? Basically, you're lower of the parallel. That would be the assumption. If it
You
falls
know,
on earnings, you're looking at support around 44.40-ish, give or take.
yep. That's awesome. That gives you a lot of data. You know what's neat about that parallel? It's almost the top end. If you take a trend line from the pivot high in January of 2020, go all the way back, right? Yeah, right before that steep decline, and then connect it over to the pivot on May of 2024. So
This one?
right there, yep, and then just string it all the way out, and that's basically
Oh, yeah.
price has tried to bubble up to it and it's never confirmed above that line.
Wow. Interesting.
Well, you guys are giving Biku a lot of information.
Can't help it. I mean, when I see a chart, I got to analyze it.
It's an open book test.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Just like AI, you use this for your advantage.
I mean, I'm serious. I'm compelled to do it too. You're right, G. Like it is. It's like addicting. It's like, oh, I see this and I see that.
Hmm.
I can't stop.
See, I was trying to teach him how to fish. It's fine. You guys just gave
Well,
him
he's
a
learning
fish.
from us too.
I know.
Absolutely. Yeah. I
Well,
did.
hold on. Let's see if he digested it or even listened. Let's see. So, what do you think, Biku? No pressure.
No pressure.
Under pressure.
What I think's cool about it is I was able to at least explain it through the mic, which this is hard for me, folks. Having to describe stuff for me, it's not that easy, you know. But at
Oh
least
yeah. Wait, hold on.
I
Biku,
got G to do exactly the same trend line I did
Heck yeah.
without taking 5 minutes or so, you know. So I'm pretty excited about that.
wait, Biku, you can't say that.
He says, I agree with what you guys are saying. Okay.
Hey, what was
You
that? What
can't
did he
say that.
say?
You can't say that.
Come on.
Thomas mentioning inclining wedge from June 16th on DAL. Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see if the earnings are conducive of all the people who are not traveling anymore, right? Because I know like Southwest Airlines is offering like discounted flights and stuff. So are people traveling less, even though you've got that downsloping parallel channel, which is kind of bull flaggish, favors a move to the upside? Will it actually fail?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not long or short this going into earnings, but if I had to be, I would be long.
Based on the chart pattern.
Yeah. And also just the mere aspect that I feel like the sentiment is relatively negative on airlines, because we've all been hearing that people aren't traveling anymore, so that means the bar is lower. The chart is relatively bullish. So and also, I mean, how many other stocks are at all-time highs? Like, I mean, you go through 10 charts, 9 of them are at all-time highs. So this one, you could argue this one is lagging, maybe plays catch up. But again, I am not taking it into earnings. Not my generally. I mean, very occasionally I will do that, but not in this situation.
Philip saying, why is no one talking about the fact that we can actually see you all? It's so cool. I know it's crazy, right? These cameras are.
I know I was eating a bar before, and I was very self-conscious about eating my protein bar. I was like, and then Ben was over there sneezing, like having a sneezing fit. I'm like, man, this is
know.
like this is really personal.
It is. I don't know how I feel about it.
I'm glad I'm wearing a shirt today. Jeez.
No, I think they liked that yesterday.
We
I
just
think
got to
they
make
did.
sure you wear pants next time.
Well, they can't see that low, at least.
I
That's good.
know, about just in
Yeah.
case you stand up or something. All right, SOXX is in an upsloping wedge pattern.
Oh, I want to see this, Ben. Come on,
Steve.
show it to me.
Show it to you. All right.
Show me the money.
Boom. There it
Oh,
is.
yeah. We need to see that break.
First hit at 241.87. Second hit 243. This creates this downsloping trend, upsloping trend line. Upper end 243.19, 244, and then 244.53.
Little mini 1 minute head and shoulders, maybe. Just over the,
You
just
mean this
really
little guy?
recently. Little guy.
It's just a little guy.
All right, I got another chart for you guys here. This is how much we love charting and trading is Alcoa, right? So you have Alcoa here, and there is a hidden trend line on this, what we would refer to as a hidden trend line that is just absolutely remarkable. See if you guys can pinpoint it. I have probably shown it before, so zoom out on it, zoom in on it. I'll put us back on the side so we can see here. Oh, nope, that didn't do it. How do we do this? Nope, nope, nope.
Jack, you can't prove that. You can't
Which
prove that we're actually wearing pants.
I don't
which
see the way to make it go back to the side, but that's okay. You guys can see. All right, I will draw it in. Hopefully some of you guys put it in already on your charts. Oh, wow. Hey, Locke.
I didn't do that.
That's all me. I'm
Someone
trying
did
to.
that.
All right,
There we go.
All right. So this line, check this out. Technicians can appreciate. Look at that.
I had it.
Is that the one you had, Drew?
It is. Yep.
There you go.
No, they're terrible.
They're
But
terrible.
look at this. 1, 2,
I don't like
3,
marshmallowy stuff.
4, 5,
like
6, and on 7 it
That's some
breaks.
dark chocolate. I don't
That's a time count for those of you that don't know.
Here, try.
If you have the Winning Trader series or picked it up, then that's it. And then look at the fall and the retrace to the scene of the crime. Boom. I mean, to me, that's just remarkable. Like to see a trend line that hits 6 times on the 7th, it breaks, and then it does the classic retrace and gets rejected. Very cool trend line.
Absolutely. Now, folks, take this home. Literally try to have this ingrained in your brain. We've just shown you two exactly the same pattern setups. Now, it was slightly different on the chart with different time frames, but we pointed out Boeing, how it broke that trend line, and then what did it do? It came right back to that trend line that it just broke. This is the same thing. It happens over and over, whether daily, weekly, hourly, 1 minute, it doesn't matter. Learning these patterns is extremely helpful.
Here, check this out, guys. Here it is again. You guys see it? Let me zoom in. It was right here on Alibaba.
Yep.
Breakout, retrace. It did a triple here before it ripped higher. Look at that. 1, 2, 3. So this was resistance. It then became support. Boom. Let's go to some other. I mean, if you pull up almost any random chart, you'll find it somewhere.
That's one of my favorite patterns right there. That's awesome. That one that you had there.
Caterpillar.
What was
This
that,
is one of-
Baba?
Yep.
Yep.
Here it is. So you can see right here. Right up there. It's hitting it. Hit it actually 2 days ago, and now it's doing it again, but it's right there. That's, again, support, 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 breakdown, retrace to the scene of the crime. It should. Odds, again, remember, we deal in a world of probabilities, not uncertainties, but this is what should happen here. It's awesome. What are you eating
Wow,
there,
that
Lon?
is awesome. And it's pushing up into what, or triple top?
I don't know. I want to go try
Declining
one
trend
of the
line.
bars.
Okay.
I remember
listen.
after you were into the Mars.
Try one of the bars. Listen, there's the other bars, the chunky ones. And then I asked Ben if they're good, and he said they're terrible. They're also dark chocolate. I don't really like dark chocolate.
Oh, I love dark chocolate.
Yeah, they were the marshmallow.
Oh, I don't like those. Yeah.
No,
No,
I think
Kate loves them.
I'm convinced that dark chocolate is just like no one actually likes dark chocolate. They just say that they like it because it's healthier.
It definitely has less sugar.
Yeah.
What do you think, Lawton? Do you like it?
That bar.
What?
Which bar is that? Which one is that?
I think this is a Costco one.
Yeah, it's the
I like
Kirkland.
those.
The Kirkland
Yeah.
chocolate chip cookie dough. Have you had it before, Ben?
Yeah.
They're not bad.
They're not bad.
What's great about those is they have like a crap ton, pun intended, of fiber in them. If you look at the
Oh,
ingredients,
listen, I
there's
have
like
no problem.
80% of your daily fiber in
have
there.
no problem going to the bathroom. Trust me. But why do all protein bars taste like? You know what I mean? They have that
Chocolate.
same taste.
Chalky taste. I think it's
Yeah.
just because they don't put in all the sugar and that masks probably the other taste.
No, but it tastes like a protein bar, right? Like every single protein bar from the first one I had as a kid to the one I'm eating in my hand right now. They all have the same similar taste. Like you could tell it's a protein bar.
Should we tell them that it's the goat milk protein that's in there?
You guys couldn't even last a day without talking about milk. And it
Yeah, but
wasn't
it
even
wasn't
that,
it
was
wasn't
you.
raw milk. So
Yeah.
Oh, you brought
yeah.
it up just now, though. You brought it up.
Oh my gosh.
And now chat's going crazy over raw milk. Good job.
All right, active trader saying, "Hey guys, is SMH looking like a bear flag on the 5-minute?" Let's take a look. Now again, I don't really follow the 5-minute, but look on the 10-minute, I have this in. So yeah, I mean, I would say that. Honestly, that's a pattern that even on the S&P is forming today, right? Which is bearish, yeah. Anytime you get a reversal like this, so remember, we talk in worlds of probabilities, not certainties, but when you have a vertical surge like this, and then in the next subsequent candles, you negate that entire move and close below, I basically look at this, all these red candles, they essentially are the equivalent of one big red candle that engulfs this move, right? This entire green. Now you could say, okay, this is a bunch of little ones. Yes, but notice they're all red. So it was a consistent grind of nonstop sellers there that took it below. And so overall, I would say that's a big bearish signal for the SMH. And then you do get this bearish pattern here. And notice again, when is the float coming in? It's 11 o'clock to now 2:30, which again is that middle of the day where the big players are at lunch having their drinks, whatever they're doing. But it's really retail, right? Retail's involved more over the lunch hour, or just algos just trading back and forth. But yeah, it is a bearish pattern. Yeah, absolutely. Now again, if it ever takes out this high, then it's negated, and that's just the nature of the beast. But until then, this would be looked at as a bearish pattern. Just curious about what fib that was too on an intraday. Oh man, perfect 50%. Look at that. Right there. And it's starting to break. We might be seeing an afternoon little sell-off in the semis, although NVIDIA is still staying pretty strong. Within $1, 120 of the 4 trillion close on market cap.
Oh, the XOXX is coming in from that wedge pattern.
Oh yeah, there it is. Same thing.
You should have shorted it.
I was waiting for you to go long on the SOXS. That's why I gave it to you. So here.
I don't do that.
Oh, you don't do what?
I don't take it before my level.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. I need to apologize. You had a trade today and yesterday.
And you said you were going to get a trade today. You said you're going to force it. Those are your words, literally your words. Like,
Yes, I did. And it didn't happen.
well, there's still time on the clock.
I did give 4 levels that didn't get to my targets. So I can't do anything about that.
You said you were going to force it.
I know that was forcing a trade on Microsoft.
What was that one with a C, that stock with a C that went vertical that I was shorting? I shorted and it went like crazy to like $60 before it collapsed down to 30. You guys remember the symbol on that? I just wanted to check in on that. C.
I don't remember.
Man,
Well, when was that?
I mean, it was probably 2 months ago now. I mean, it was a while ago. It was insane though. I remember I was like,
CVAC?
what was it?
CVAC?
CVAC? No, I don't think so. Here, I can look at the track record. It'll be on there.
CNP.
CNP, let me see.
That's what CEP. CEP.
Was
That's
it
what
CEP?
Constellation, was it? Constellation Energy?
No, I don't think it was that one. It was a smaller one. I think
Constellation Energy.
Yeah, it was CEP.
Yeah, it was CEP.
Oh.
There you go. Yeah, this one.
Yeah. Nice job. Look at this. Federico J.
Heck
Chris.
yeah, guys. There you go.
Nice job.
Yeah, I think it was this day, right? It was probably this day right here where it went from the close the previous day of $16 to 39. And it got halted a few times in there too. I remember it got halted.
That was fun. Remember, you were trying for $1,000 and you ended up
Yeah, that was real fun.
down 20 something. You made money.
Yeah.
It was wild. It happens though, and sometimes more often than we'd like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
What was it? You added like every $10 on that thing?
Yeah, it was like probably like 5 or 6 every 5. Yeah, it was crazy.
Federico says, I remember because I was also losing my shirt with that shit.
Yeah.
But you made money at the end.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we just had to hang on for a little bit of a wild ride.
Yep.
But those are the most fun trades, right?
They
It wouldn't
can
be
be.
as fun if you just get to win right
Certainly
away.
the edge of
Easily.
your seat type of one. Yeah.
It's a lot more memorable, at least. A
Yeah.
lot more memorable. Wow, GEV. GEV's been on a wild ride lately.
It has been. Yep. There was this parallel, and it's even broken above that now.
Dropped $27, and then the next day it's up, and then drops $50. Next couple days it's up. Just insanity.
Well, this is an interesting trend line. You can see how it behaves right in here, here. Then it kind of got chopped, but it's kind of held around that. And then here it reestablished, fell, and now it's been knocking on the underbelly. Today should be a level where it pulls back maybe tomorrow.
Based on probabilities, you guys. So just
That's right.
he's not saying go all in because it's gonna
No, you should go all in. That's what he's saying.
definitely. Oh, is it? My bad. My bad.
That trend line
So-
doesn't gauge how much helium's in that stock.
Yeah, it has been an amazing runner. Oh man, look at this, Drew. You see? Let me show you this.
What is that?
See that? And then watch.
Where's our friend from Seattle? That's a measured move, fellas.
Dude, that's pretty cool. So exact dollar amount from this beginning of this bull run to this high is now matching up from this low to this bull run high. Very cool. See how you just play it? Like honestly, I just was looking at two big moves there, and I was like, oh well, I'm curious. Like, let's see. It kind of looks about the same, and then lo and behold, boom. And that's really what technical trading is all about. You just kind of all these things in your brain, and you're like you kind of It's almost like you have a piece of puzzle and you're trying to fit it into, you know, the space, and you see what fits. And obviously you use your eye to pre-classify it, right? I mean, I'm not looking and saying, oh, is this a head and shoulder pattern, right? I mean, obviously I can tell there's no such thing there of that, but yeah, that's really cool. Fun stuff.
All right, SOX S or SOXX is retracing to the scene of the crime. See if it's got another push higher.
Yeah, that's the trend line I just had on my chart for GEV. They're Matus. Yep. So you got the measured move and that trend line. Yeah. Should be a very
Nice.
good one. Right there.
I'd say that measured moves should be a great candidate for trading the close today.
Dude, as long as you also show this trend line here. The measured move, and then you have an additional factor, right? Because it's all about, the methodology is all about multiple factors.
Sure.
That's, yeah, I love that.
There's also another, I mean, heck, it's in essence the same trend line, really, from the pivot right in, February 20th? That pivot high strung to the high over June 3rd of 2025. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing. That's what I've got on my chart. I didn't
Just
realize it
extends
went all the
further
way
out.
down. Yeah. Wow.
Also tomorrow, I think ConAgra has earnings tomorrow. Again, it's not really a market mover, but wow, that thing has been beaten up. Holy cow. See, this chart I actually like as a bullish move on earnings too, because it's at double bottom and it's oversold. Again, I'm not going to play it, but look at that double bottom. Wow. CAG is the symbol on that. Let me just confirm. I believe I saw they did have earnings tomorrow morning, but let me just double check. Yep, Thursday the 10th, 7:30 in the morning. They report expected to be 59 cents on $2.85 or $2.85 billion in revenue, 59 cents in earnings. Actually, look at this trend line, guys. Look at it, goes all the way back here, all the way to these pivots over here. Was resistance, broke out, then it became support.
Yeah, it looks like say if price continues to sell off on CAG, it looks like the floor is going to be right around 1650. So even getting in around here, I mean, as long as you position yourself correctly and not go all in, say if you were to enter today, just be prepared that you could go a little lower. But it looks like it's going to be really, really tough, especially with this angle of fall, this angle of descent, to get down and bust through this next level that I have. And it's just really a longer term trend line on the weekly chart. I can show it here just very briefly. So in this one, you can see it's strung out on the weekly chart, talking about all the way back to 98. connected through
That's
the
a great
lows.
trend line.
Yeah, look at that. That's now if price beats all those trend lines that Gareth was just showing, how this horizontal area is awesome. We've got another double bottom right here. But let's just say worst case scenario. This is one thing I like to do whenever I'm looking at stocks too. Like say if I want to get in here, much like what we did with JetBlue, how I went all the way back on that chart and I said, well, what's the worst that can happen, right? So, can price go beneath this? Sure, it could. But since 1988, it hasn't. So
I
the
got
odds are. Say what?
I was gonna have another trend line I want you to put in on here.
All right.
All right, so
Let
take
me
the
flip
high
over to
from
you.
1997
High from 97. Okay.
and
Yep.
connect it to the low from 2019.
Look at that.
There you go. That's the
Okay.
spot to buy for a swing or a longer term. Yeah.
Yep.
Look at that.
So basically anything really under that horizontal area that Gareth was talking about, basically anything under this, you can start inching in, understanding that price could easily drop down here 15, 16%. As long as you position yourself correctly, that's not that big of a fall to average in through this zone.
Yep. Yeah, you can probably keep yourself within about 5 or 6% by dollar cost averaging.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or you just play it and say, hey, I'm not going to buy until it gets down there.
Yeah, like a Pierce 18.
Yeah. That's a cool chart, man. That might be worthy of trading the. That's kidding.
Gee, you need to come on here more often in the afternoon.
I know, man. We got to find these gems, man. This is great.
So Biku has got some levels for the DAL earnings.
Ah.
Yeah. He says his first level is at for a short is 57.55. Let me see.
Brian's asking where's Dr. B. Dr. B's on vacay this week.
Vacation. That's right. So Delta Airlines, his first level is 57.55 for a short. So I'm assuming these are swing trades.
For earnings.
Yeah, for earnings, I guess maybe.
Well, the only reason I say that is because the distance between 57.55 and 69.40 is 20%. So that to me seems more like a swing trade than a earnings trade. Only because if you get in with a 1/10 position here and then you add 69.40, you're going to need roughly a 10% pullback, not quite a 10% pullback, 9.5% to actually get your break even. That'd be a crazy move on Delta. I mean, 37%, 37.5% doesn't mean it can't happen. Just the likelihood is a lot smaller. And then his first buy level is 45. So let's see how big of a drop that would be. 45, 46. Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad level. Yeah, you can have some support. This is a previous gap fill. I like trading previous gap fills with this low pivot. And then 35.01. Wow. See, these are really far away. So the next level would be, okay, this double bottom, essentially, 34.90 and then $30.77. So yeah, these would be swing trades. These wouldn't be a earnings trade unless you're going to try to get this one perfectly, get out for like 2-3% and then wait for an additional drop. But you have another level here on if you're going to go long on Delta at 41.50. So this is a pretty nice gap fill. This is a minor gap fill, but you have another gap fill at 39.47. And then you actually have a gap fill at 30, what is this? 35.88. So here are some additional support levels. So, and again, on the downside, that would be a 28% drop. Not out of the question, just not as realistic. Just because Delta Airlines doesn't move usually that much. Oh, I deep saying I haven't heard the word wedge in a while. I actually gave you a wedge on SOXX.
That's
I
right.
just gave one earlier.
And on Boeing.
But certainly when Dr. B's away, you don't hear quite as much.
Absolutely not.
You're going through withdrawal.
Yeah, sounds like it. Wedge and VWAP. So do you see here how price action got below? It's piercing on the underside of BWAP. Try to get above. This was what we call a bull trap. Got to the upper end of this wedge pattern. This would be your entry. And you just trail the stop all the way down. And you would just
Thanks,
stop
Dr. B.
at a pierce above 244.57. Oh, nice, Biku.
All right, tomorrow, Ben and Drew are definitely going to get a trade, right?
Listen,
Linda,
I had 4 levels today that didn't hit. All right, the first one was hymns, and then I had CRDO, and then Microsoft, and then again on Boeing. So I don't know what you want me to do.
I'm just messing with you, man.
I'm not scared. Give me some volatility. I'll get a
I-
trade.
At least we got a couple earnings tomorrow, Conagra and Delta. Maybe it'll trigger something. And these semis, honestly, if this bearish pattern holds, they could be ready to sell off tomorrow.
Yeah,
An opportunity
kind of hoping
there.
for a push up on them for a little bit more. That way we can execute a couple more shorts. But yeah, I'm anxious for it, excited for it. So yeah, you better be ready. I'll be interested in getting in as trade or two, as long as we have volatility. All right. With that being said, you guys have a great rest of the close. I'm going to get off and get ready for trading the close.
All right,
And,
sounds good.
All right. I'll be back on tomorrow morning. Everybody else, have a great one.
Sounds good. I'll stay on for another couple minutes, guys, and then I got to knock out a video.
All right. Thanks, George. Yes, I am taking a break because I'm first in the rankings in the 30-day. Trying to trade you guys. Just gotta, it has to get to the level. I mean, I was even cutting the Microsoft level in half. It was above 505, and I was like, well, I want 510, but I'll take 507.5. 507.5, and it just didn't want to do it. Kim's trade missed us by 40 cents. So, can only do what we can do.
Rohit mentioning, do you guys have a course on futures? No, but Maggie's working on it. So we hopefully it'll be out in a few months on futures, but I think that'll be a great one. And then Ryan saying, I'm short UPST from 78.50 with a stop at break even. Any suggestions on, or do you see any levels? Let's take a look. All right. Oh, so you just went short today because it's right underneath that level. Looks like you got a topping tail yesterday, so I like that. So you're playing the topping tail. So you obviously, I mean, you have a break even, but you could even use a negation of your of the topping tail as your stop. A daily close above that. It looks like 80 and a quarter. And then really what you do is you just say, okay, well, where's your first support if it comes down? To me, the conservative exit would be right here, right? So you have this wide range gap down, which reversed, and then that coincides with this little pivot. But if you're looking for a bigger move, which eventually I think you'll get, you got 66, and then big area in here at around $60 Pierce. Right here would be a huge area for a target. Looks good though. Yeah, I mean it's these pseudo financial kind of ones, buy now, pay later, whatever it does. You guys know I'm always skeptical because every bull economic cycle, these emerge and then they get decimated when everyone stops paying the pay laters during a recession. Jerry mentioning, I'm not sure if I can ask this here. With experience, you have 10 to 20,000. I'm not sure if what you're asking. Are you asking if you have 10 to 20,000, can you trade? Not in the U.S. So U.S. says 25K if you have an account in the U.S. You have to have a minimum of 25K to be able to day trade, right? You could do 3 day trades a week if you have under 25, but anything above that, they'll lock you down. But yeah, I mean, technically you could trade, especially if you get a little leverage on that. You can make a little bit of money day trading.
He's asking day trade, swing trade, or long term. So the real answer to that question is like how do you see yourself as an investor, right? Obviously, what Gareth was saying is you can't day trade more than 3 days a week. So
3
make
times
sure
a
that
week, yeah.
three times a week. Yeah. So that's, you could exhaust all 3 of them in the same day, right? So you would have already done 2 today. And so you would have to only stick to 1 the next time you trade. And I think it resets in 4 days. So it really depends on what you want to do with your money. If you want to day trade, swing trade, or long-term invest. Yeah, this isn't, we can't advise you on what that is and how that looks for you. It's very personal.
Yep. Yeah, Ollie mentioning, what do you think about the CNC chart? Finally looking a little bit better today. Flushed early, and then you're seeing a reversal. So it might be due for a little small bounce. But again, it's not a trade that I'm in or looking to get into. But do you think it filled a gap here? There was a gap over here. I think it filled around $32. So that's good as well. And there's a lot of support on the chart going back to 2015 and 16. So, you might be due for a little bounce there on that. That's a possibility.
Jake says, you guys ever had to give up a pet? Hard day today. Shout out, Storm. It sucks, man. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, Jake, that sucks, bro.
Yeah, that's really tough, man. Jeez. Yeah, in general, I would say, just going back to that question, until you have 30,000, I would do swing trading, because it's just not, like the amount of the amount of potential for restriction is just too great. But once you have 30, then it makes sense. You might say, well, why I only need 25? Well, one of the things I learned very early on is that you never want to have just like 25, because one $20 loser and they're going to shut you down for being below 25 as a day trader, right? So it's like, give yourself a little room to maneuver where you can have a couple losses and still be able to trade.
If you're holding a position and your total equity drops below 25, you can no longer trade.
Yeah.
If you buy Apple stock and it drops a penny, you're restricted.
Yeah, then that's it. They say no more for you.
No soup for you.
You think they should change that? Or they should leave it? What do you guys think?
It's your money. You should be able to do what
Yeah.
you want with it, and that's my opinion.
I agree with you on that, Ben.
I think the less regulation, the better.
Agreed.
But I'm libertarian, so I don't like people telling me what to do.
Yeah, there's a lot, that's the negative of it is, I think the goal of stuff like that is saying, oh, well, we're trying to protect people that don't have a lot of money because day trading honestly is very risky. Most people won't make it and then most people will lose their money. But at the same time, that should be their decision, to do it.
Well, that's stock trading in general, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but I guess my point is that in general is it still should come back to personal responsibility and your choice, your money, your choice.
That's right. I mean, I've made plenty of stupid decisions with my money. I mean, let me lose it in the stock market too, if I choose to.
Yeah.
JP says red or black. What do you guys think?
I don't play that game, so
You don't play roulette?
no.
Depends. What were the last 3 or 4
I don't believe in that.
spins?
I think red or black, black, or maybe red.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. What do
Oh,
you?
split the difference. Split the
Yeah.
difference.
How about green?
And then lose on green.
No, I think black. That's what I'm going with.
JP.
I'm locking it in. In fact, I'm opening a virtual roulette simulator right now.
Sorry to ruin your fun, JP.
It's black.
All right, we're just about to enter the final hour of trading, and NVIDIA is starting to catch a bid here, guys. I've been curious if they'll try to get a daily close with a 4 trillion valuation on NVIDIA. And really, it would just have to go up $1 from here in the final hour. So we'll see if they do it.
I just did a $20,000 spin on virtual roulette, all on black,
And
and I won.
nice.
Hit 33. Black.
Yeah, Jim, it's a good point.
Yes, JP, I did. Got to see where my advantage is at. Did you see what Charles was saying?
Yeah.
Yep. Jim is saying my trading mentor tells me if you knew you had a 90% chance of crashing when you boarded a plane, would you board the plane? The answer is obvious. 90% of people lose money day trading. So that's his analogy. The people in this room, however, need those 90% if we're going to make money. That's true.
That's
Yep.
why that's why we want them to let them day trade, I guess.
Well, I mean, anybody can go to the casino and drop 10 grand on one trade. Nobody balks at that.
Okay, if you had an opportunity, okay?
Just
So
one opportunity.
One shot, one opportunity. You get
to seize
a
the moment. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, okay. It's you have the ability to win $1 billion, okay? But you only win 30% of the time. But the 70% of the time that you lose all the money in your bank account right now. You keep everything else in your life, but you lose everything else in your bank account.
Do they take the debt too?
No. No. They don't. So what would you take the odds at 70?
Yes.
Really?
Do you get to play more than once, or you're only allowed
Play
once?
once. One shot.
Whoa,
One
one
Well,
shot.
he said every time,
Yeah, that's why I thought it was like
Well,
you
one
just.
shot.
All right,
one
one
shot.
shot. All right.
and it was a
Oof.
70-30.
70-30 in their favor.
I would not
against
do it
you.
at this stage in my life. No, too much to lose.
$1 billion.
Yes, 100%. I would do
Okay.
it.
What if there's only 25% chance you win? What's the threshold for you? JP says yes. Oh no, I lost $3.67.
I don't know what the threshold would be. Well, it depends on how much money I have in the bank account.
Well,
I mean,
that's
that
yeah.
would be
That's
Well,
my
yeah.
issue. Is
But Gareth has about $2 billion in the bank account, so he
yeah.
doesn't
So
want
why
to.
would I risk it for 1 billion? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, when he has $2 billion.
There is no threshold if I've got like $100 in the bank.
Right.
Lauren says I'll get my son to do it. He's got 10 pounds from his grandma's at Christmas. JP says
That's right.
5% is my threshold. All right.
So I think a different question to ask is if you had $1 million in your bank account
Yes.
and then somebody asked you, the risk to reward is still in your favor.
It's largely in your favor, but it depends. It
I'll
depends
even.
on more than that.
All right.
It's
So there's another caveat to that, though. So you really should be saying at what age, right?
it depends on a lot of things. Like let's say you have $1 million in your bank account, but you're also making, you know,
$100,000 a month.
yeah, or right, then you're like, sure, I'll do it. But if you have $1 million in your bank account and it's all money you inherited from a family member and you don't have any other money,
And you're a bum.
yeah, basically, and that's supposed to be what you're living off of, are you still doing that? No, you're
Well, that's
not.
why I brought up the age, because like if you're right about
Mhm.
to like at retirement age and you don't have years to reaccumulate wealth, then obviously that's a huge factor.
And do I have to tell my wife? I guess that's another factor.
Yeah, you can get her to do it too. She
She
gets a
gets a
spin
shot
too.
too. Oh, that's
Well,
not bad. Dude.
she is. It's his different bank account, right? So I need
Do
to
you
get
wait?
share.
Do you have separate bank accounts, Ben?
I do.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yep.
Do you have separate bank accounts, Gareth?
I have my bank account that I had before I got married, and then we have a joint one.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah,
like that's
same.
normal.
Yeah, but she doesn't. She doesn't have a separate bank account. She didn't have any money when we got together. But listen, she's awesome. She takes care of so much for me. I probably wouldn't be alive right now if it wasn't for her. So
I share that sentiment with my wife about my wife as well.
what about you, Lawton? You aren't engaged yet, right?
No, I'm not
So if
engaged.
you get married to Katie, what would you do?
In this situation,
Yeah.
I would not. I would not risk my bank account for $1 million.
But would you have separate? Are you gonna have
Not
separate bank
for $1
accounts?
million. I thought you said it was $1 billion.
Billion. I said $1 billion. I wouldn't do it for actually billion maybe. Yeah, I'd do it for $1 billion, but not for $1 million. Am I gonna have separate bank accounts? Well, that's what I was gonna ask you guys. At what point are you like, oh, all right, I'm gonna open up a separate bank account. Is that okay? Like, is that weird? Like, is that like when you create a joint account, do you all throw all your money in? Do you change your uh your pay stubs to direct deposit to go into that joint bank account? Like, what do you do with that?
I think once you're married and you're working, then at least for us, my paychecks and go into a joint, right? But I still have money separate from prior to marriage that I do keep separate. But I know a lot of people, and I actually agree with this in that there's nothing wrong with having like a little separate bank account where you guys get to like people can make choices like, hey, maybe my partner doesn't agree with me buying this toy, but what the heck, I have it my own separate little thing where I can buy something that I just want. But yeah, I mean, there's so many different answers. I don't know if there's a right answer. It's what works for you.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
but I think you'll have to look at, I don't know how, if you guys ever did get married, you got to definitely look at how much money you're bringing into the marriage versus her, and then you have to kind of figure that out.
well, right now I pay for like everything. Like she doesn't pay rent. She doesn't pay like any. Like the only thing she pays for is like her gas. I guess I don't know how. Um, but if we get married, of course I'm gonna sign a prenup. But some people are weird about prenups. You know,
This
It's-
day and age, you got to just do it though.
I'm just like
Yeah.
it's just some people are like, oh, if you really loved me, you wouldn't even think about that. You know, wouldn't consider the possibility because it's supposed to be forever. But then whatever,
Yeah, it's supposed to be. The problem is that what's the divorce rate? 50%.
50%.
So you got a 50-50
Yeah.
chance of divorce, just like
Red or
$1
black?
million.
Where are we
Yeah,
going,
red or
boys?
black.
We're
There you
going
go.
red or black.
Well, not only that, but I mean, shoot, if you love me, then it doesn't matter. If we're gonna stay together,
Yeah.
then the prenup's null and void. So what's the purpose? I mean, what's
Right,
the hesitation
exactly.
behind signing it?
Exactly. If you're going to be together anyways forever, then the prenup
Then
doesn't
there's
even
nothing
matter.
to worry about.
There you
Yeah,
go.
Right.
it's okay. I already told her that. She knows that. Angie says prenups are super important. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, exactly, Shanda. Yep. Look
So
at this, man. We'd branch out into all these different things. This is like a
Yeah.
podcast central here, man.
with our video,
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing else
Yeah.
happening in the markets, right? So
Yeah, I'm just watching NVIDIA here. That's about it. Yeah, there's nothing much else.
I've turned into a lot, and I'm watching the SOXS. I mean the SOXX, just kind of chopping around.
yeah, Trin saying she can be weird all she wants to be, but you're not taking my money, especially these days. Yeah, and a kid says there's no point in getting married unless you want kids.
I agree with that pretty much. Yeah.
And he says, unless neither of you have much when you get married, it's fine not to have one.
Yep. I agree.
Richard says you guys are so funny. We're just talking about life, you know?
Man, life. Yeah.
People start asking me questions like, when are you gonna engage? When are you gonna get married?
Do you want kids, Lawton, by the way? I haven't
Yeah,
even-
I want
Oh,
kids.
okay. All right.
Like 2 max. Yeah, 2 max for me. But
That's what I did, man. I had two, and then I went to the doctor and made sure that I wouldn't have any more.
I wanted more. I wanted like 4.
Oh my God.
I just started later, so Elisa was like, "Nope, I'm
so
done."
you got the snip, Gareth?
I did, and it was the scariest thing was thinking about it and going to do it.
In my brain, like I'm just like,
Yeah, no, it honestly, doing it actually was not bad, and recovery was, I mean, I walked out of there. I was, but mentally, that was the toughest part. Mentally
Yeah.
was like, oh my God, is this going to be horrible? Like, what the heck, But yeah, it wasn't too bad.
yeah.
It's a very weird experience though. Like,
It is
I'm
very
talking to a
weird.
male doctor. I'm laying down, I'm looking up at him, and I know he's fondling me down there, and it's just like, it's
I
just a
can't- I
weird,
can't-
Okay, so my
weird
question to you,
experience. Like,
okay, my question to you, Gareth, is it
Don't,
me or
don't
did
say
the
that. Wait,
doctors?
wait. He's not doing that. Why'd you say it like that? Oh my god.
dude, I'm just saying, like,
No,
Okay,
stop.
my question to you, Gareth, is
Stop.
did
Stop.
my doctor? I felt like he spent an unusual amount of time like sanitizing and doing all this stuff. I was like,
You guys are
let's
I
go.
freaks.
mean,
Come on,
You guys
I
are
hope he's
freaks. You
sanitizing
guys are
it.
freaks. Oh god.
Like, let's go. Come
Well,
on,
and have
let's
two
just
kids
get
and
this
then go to
over
the
with.
doctor.
No, it's not about that. Okay, let me tell you what's going on. Okay, the reason why I'm reacting so violently is because Ben's like, I don't know why they're sanitizing so much. Right, that's one extreme. The other extreme is Gareth being like, he's like fondling me.
Well,
It's true.
I mean, they have to like.
They have to
No,
move
I'm not
things
gonna get. We're not gonna
around.
get into details here, but yeah. I mean,
Google it.
obviously,
But, I mean,
No, I'm not
down there to make
Googling
sure that you don't
anything.
have kids.
Oh
it's
god.
part of the process, man.
Dude, you just gotta trust the process.
All right. Well,
And then you see him extra sanitizing it with for Ben.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
God. All right. It's not
Federico
4
said
o'clock yet, is
he.
it?
No, Federico says he went in for an appointment just to check about it, and he fainted while the doctor was explaining the process.
Oh my God.
Did they get you while you were sleeping? Or
Yeah, you wake up and you're like, oh, it's all done. Oh, okay.
oh, dude,
Yeah, as
That
Jim's
wasn't too
saying, I
bad.
bet there's anxiety in the pre-snip. Yeah, that was honestly that was the worst part about it. And once doing it actually was not bad. There was like no pain really. And then afterwards it was a little sore, but that was about it.
I have a friend who got it like on his 18th birthday. Like he knew it. He didn't want to have kids, so his
Wow, 18th
yeah,
birthday.
he just did it.
All right. Positive thing is they say it's reversible if you really did change your mind anyway. So
It's true.
Did you have you reversed it, Ben?
No. I'm just saying it's
Uh,
from what I've heard, it's reversible.
all
I
right.
say to my wife all the time, I'm like, hey, listen, if you ever choose to have kids, I don't mind. I just know it's not going to be with me now. Like like okay, she can go, get pregnant, but I just know it's not mine.
Mario says, "Close my eyes. At 1 hour later, I woke up."
Oh wow, they put you under for that? They didn't
Nice.
put me
Oh,
under.
I definitely was not put under.
So wait, are you like looking? Are you like looking at what's happening?
No, I purposely did not like. Well, number one, I was laying down, but purposely I didn't like. That's where I would start to freak out.
Right. No.
Like when you can't feel it, and then like you might know it's going on, but you can't feel it, don't see it. It's not happening. Like okay, I'm living in my fantasy land there, but I don't want to see.
Did Ben? Did you look?
No.
Okay.
No, you're laying back while they're doing it. I mean, it's not like you're
Oh,
sitting up.
Mario saying they asked either way, and I said put me to sleep. Yeah, you know what? If they had asked me probably ahead of time, I
I would
probably
have
would have said
definitely
that
said
too.
yes. Let's go.
Yeah, I
Jim
need a
says,
nap.
"Do they use general or local anesthesia?"
It's just local. Yeah, at least for me, at least for me. Yeah.
Lauren says, "Nice call on Cat, Gareth. Coming in nicely." Yeah, let's. I'm
Oh
like
yeah, look at
sweating now.
that. All
Oh
right,
yeah.
you mean back to the charts? We want to get back
Yeah,
to the charts.
yeah. It's enough for me. I can't. I can't do
Lawton
this
is
anymore.
he's
I'm like,
thoroughly
no, I'm just scarred.
yeah.
Yeah. Just think of how we feel.
Yeah, this is a nice rollover on Caterpillar now. All right, I'm gonna stay on for 2 more minutes, and then I'm gonna let you guys rock it
Well,
out
I
for the
mean,
rest.
really, I think we could just close it. I mean, there's not a lot going on. We'll keep it open, but
So let's find out more things that Lawton has to look forward to in life. Come on, name some of them, guys. I know you guys have a long list here.
Yeah,
If you could go back and tell how old are you? 30 years old, Lawton?
yeah. I just turned 30.
If you could tell your 30-year-old self something, what advice would you guys give, Lawton?
I'm all here. I'm open. I'm ready. Mara says to the group, put yourself to sleep if you decide to do it. Yeah, I would not do that awake. I think I would just, I don't know. Just want to see what's going on.
Lawrence. Lawrence is saying my 1-year-old woke me up by throwing up on me last week. That was all of the fun. Yeah, wow. I don't miss those days.
Pika
Actually,
said,
yeah, it's with Sarah. I think I don't remember if it's Juliana or Mariah, but it was still when they were breastfeeding. But they threw up and it went right in Sarah's mouth.
it's so gross.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, Frederico, save money, little brother. Really hard to save money when you have kids. I agree with that.
Yeah, I'm bad at that. Bad at saving money. I just look at shiny stuff and I just want to buy it.
What?
It's true. Like I'm like I just look at like especially cars. Like, I love cars. Like I
I
just
loved
want to
cars
buy
when
like 5 cars.
wasn't married with kids.
Yeah.
And now I couldn't care less really. Maybe when I retire again, we'll see.
Camille says, Lawton, don't leave for tomorrow what you can do today. So like don't procrastinate.
Yeah, like go right in now and get snip.
No, let's wait.
Just kidding.
What? This guy is sick. That's the only thing on his mind.
What?
Some sort of illness. He's just there's all he can think about.
Oh
This
my
guy,
God,
Gareth.
give me a break.
Lawrence has got a great point, especially when you start adjusting to it. He says saving money is easy. Every paycheck, 10% goes into a separate account you never look at, builds up nicely over time. So once you get in the habit of that, then you just know it goes there and you will never count on it as far as like your expenses or your spending money.
I just like looking at my bank account number go up. Just looks pretty if it's all in one. I literally have like I only have a checkings account. I don't even have a savings account. I think it's all just in one account.
Just remember, it's
I
only
have a
FDIC
savings too,
insured.
but I don't like throw. I don't add to my savings account. Like I have one, I just don't add to it. I just leave it all in my checking account, which is probably not a good idea.
Big coup. That's funny. Jim's saying, great question, Gareth, regarding advice from our 30-year-old self. My advice would be surround yourself with people you respect and who are successful, not necessarily financially. Also minimize contact with people who are the opposite. Yeah, I couldn't stress that enough. Negativity, man, I hate being around negative people.
Well, that was very negative, Gareth.
Sorry. I
I'm just
dislike
kidding.
it, and then therefore, yeah, I don't know, Ben. You are so positive though, almost to the point where it's annoying.
Is it really? Oh.
Well, only when you're like, wait, say that again, but take out this one word. I'm like, ah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
annoying.
But it helps us mentally, collectively.
Sharon's saying, how are you able to do with Lawton then? Gee. Lawton's actually pretty positive.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's just
is.
a little emotional sometimes, but honestly, he's willing to do anything in the office. Like we're like,
It's
hey, we need
true.
someone to do
I'm a guinea
this.
pig.
Lawton's like, just give it to me, I'll do it, whatever. And I love that.
I tell everyone that I'm a guinea pig. You just tell me what you need to get done, and I'll just do it. Even if I don't want to do it, I'll just suck it up and do it. Because I don't have anything better to do anyways. So
It's because you don't have kids yet. That's good.
Yeah, that's right.
that's true. Trin says, don't buy expensive cars. Get a Toyota and drive it around for the next 20 years. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about doing. Is like getting like a whatever daily driver. But
Tesla.
yeah, Tesla. Thinking about potentially Tesla, maybe like a Subaru. Um, and then I will. But I was still definitely gonna buy some sports cars. Just the
Buy
my
something that
brain.
retains its value, though, at least.
See, you guys are saying that, and I hear that. This type of sports cars I like are like classic, more classic sports
Well,
cars.
they should retain their.
Those aren't really. Would you
They,
consider them sports cars though?
I mean,
Not in the traditional sense. They're
they're
racing
like
cars.
they're race
They're old.
cars. Yeah, they're like old cars with like racing history.
Right.
Yeah. Like I wouldn't go and buy like a new McLaren. I wouldn't like complain if someone gave me a McLaren if Gareth wanted to buy me one. But I'm not gonna like if I had like 350K to throw on a car, it would not be that car. It wouldn't be a new car, a brand new car.
It would just be priced like
I'd
it
never
was.
buy anyone. I would. Yeah. Instead, if I was gonna do anything, I'd like buy 10 ounces of gold and put it in a lockbox that you can't access for like 30 years.
Oh, that's no fun.
Yeah, but
It's like a happy birthday, my child. Happy like 18th birthday. I got you some bonds.
Yeah, and then when you're 60 years old, you say, "Oh my God, thank God he did that. Like that's so amazing." And now it's worth, 10 times that. And otherwise, I would have blown it on something stupid like a car.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
I
mean,
know, I know it's not as fun though. Trust me, I know.
it's
I
not
get
as
it.
fun. I'm like, it's like the TikTok age where everyone needs instant gratification, right?
Hmm.
Like my brain is just fried.
Gotta go shopping on the TikTok shop.
Yeah, that's why
Nice.
like I
Ulysses still
like
drives his 2010 Prius. Russell still has his Tundra for the last 18 years. There you go.
yeah,
That's a
that's
nice
the
truck,
way to
though.
do it. Yeah, it is.
That's what I have now. Yeah.
I'll get a I don't know. I was thinking for a daily drive I was gonna get like a Subaru Outback so I can go do like outdoorsy stuff with it. um then I won't care if it gets messed up or scratched or dirty.
Yeah, that's a good thing too, is when you buy a car that's not so expensive, you're not so worried about every little dent and ding, which is good.
Kevin says, "What are you driving, guys?" Ben has a Tesla. He has a
I
Tesla.
do.
Gareth has a
Tundra
Tundra.
and Hyundai are the two cars
Tundra,
I have.
and I drive a Porsche Macan, the SUV.
Now, when I was in my early 30s, just before I had kids, I had a uh, Corvette Z03, which was absolutely amazing. But that was my younger self. I had the experience of it, and then I had kids, and it's only a two-seater, and it wasn't practical, and the insurance was ridiculous, and so yeah, I sold it. I said, all right. And then after that, I kind of lost the. To be fair, like I think once I had a wife and kids, and the for me at least, a hot car is more for show to potentially attract the opposite sex. That's what it was for me. And so once that's done, then I'm like, who needs that anymore?
It's so something I like to collect is I love collecting shoes, like specifically basketball shoes. Um, and I have these shoes, and this is gonna sound so insane to you guys, but I have a couple pairs of shoes that are worth over $1,000, like close to $2,000 each. I have a couple of these, and I've never worn them. I just take them out and look at them every once in a while. And I feel like if I buy a nice car, I'm just gonna do that with the car. I'm not gonna drive it. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm just gonna look at it. But then it's like, is it a waste, right? What else could I have done with that money? I don't know.
Did you buy the shoes for that price, or are they investments?
Some of them were investments, and some of them, like I think the most I paid was $1,200 for a pair of Jordans, which is a lot of money. But they're worth over $3,000 now. But
So they're an investment. Plus,
they,
you get to
but the
take them out of the
reason
box and
the
look at them.
reason I bought them was because I wanted them, not to invest in them. But I feel like I would do the same thing with a car, with a nice car. But it's like my girlfriend is like, why don't you just sell your shoes? You never wear them. You just walk in your closet, look at them every once in a while, and then she's like, why don't you invest that money in something else or trade with it or something? I'm just like, I don't know.
Hmm.
You don't have to know. I mean, people collect for various number of reasons, right? So just be a collector. You're a collector of shoes.
There you go.
Okay.
Jim's saying love the diversity of personalities in the room, but the consistent approach, like a successful basketball or football team. A friend of mine who was a successful options trader at the SIBO referred me to you, and I'm up 23.7 thousand after 4.6 months net of subscriber fees. Awesome, buddy.
Cheers, Jim.
Nice. That's
Great
a great
job.
job. Great job.
Yeah, B-Cube, one thing I've learned is that life is too short. Work hard, but have fun on the way. And if it means you want a supercar, then get it. There you go. That's true too. I think it's all like what you want, right? Right now, my focus is my bunker. So that's where all my
His doomsday bunker. It's all going there. You're gonna see them on the show. What is this show called? Preppers, Doomsday Preppers. Yeah,
A cross between
TLC.
what's the show where it's preppers but cribs, right?
Yeah,
The
Cribs,
crib or prebs.
MTV,
Prep-
MTV,
Crib
MTV.
preppers.
Crib preppers. I love it.
Yeah. Jar says, I bought a McLaren 720S cash for trading profits after mastering the winning Trader
Heck
series.
yeah.
Wow, great job. That's a freaking fast car. I think that was the fastest production car for a while. I don't know if it is anymore, but that's incredible. Camille says, I got old school Jordan shoes as well. Never use them either. Yeah. Just like looking at them.
Do you have like a Lawton for all your shoes? Do you have like special cases that they go in?
Yeah,
like glass
I have,
cases?
yeah, I have like these plastic boxes, shoe boxes. My girlfriend calls them, she calls them shoe prison. She's a shoe prison. They're just in my closet locked up there. Like I remember I evacuated from the hurricane, but I took all my shoe boxes with me. Like
Oh,
my most
man.
expensive shoe boxes with me.
I'm surprised you don't get like a safe or something.
I want to buy a safe, but dude, safes are like
Well, for that amount of
they're kind
shoes,
of
though, you're gonna have to
expensive.
get like a big, like it's
I
gonna have to be a
know.
safe room.
And I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna spend like even like spending $1,000 on a safe to me is like I don't want to spend that much money on a safe. You know?
Then get them insured for sure.
Can you get shoes insured?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can get anything insured.
Yeah. Michael says, Lon, do you have the Converse weapon worn by Magic and Ladybird? No, I don't. I'm a pretty big MJ fan, so I have a bunch of Jordan ones. I haven't got a pair of 85 Jordans. That's like holy grail, right? But I
How
don't
much would those go for?
uh, uh, a lot of money. I'll tell you right now, 70K maybe.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Alright.
Uh,
Yeah, I'd
like,
take them if you had a hurricane coming in. I'd take them too then.
if you want a crisp pair, but you can get them for just around 20K, slightly damaged, slightly used, but still, you know.
That's pretty cool though. All right, guys, I'm gonna jump off here. I got to get a video done, but yeah, great chat today. I mean, it hasn't been a lot of market action, frankly.
Yeah.
Look at Nvidia; it's just like gone sideways here for the
Yeah.
last couple hours. But yeah, good times. I'll leave these gentlemen with you guys, and you guys will catch you later. Take care.
See you later. Kimberly says, I drive my diesel SUV like a supercar through the roundabout and township every single day. It's the way to do it. There's this super cool place called the Motorcade, Motor Enclave, and it's in Tampa, somewhere like not too far away from my house, maybe like 20 minutes away. And it's like apartments, but also like there's a racetrack that you can race on anytime. You can just take laps, and all the apartments are or townhouses are all facing it. And they're called townhouses, but they're really just garages with a loft and small living space. But people race on there all the time. I got to race a couple cars on there just over a year ago. It was a lot of fun. Chin saying you can buy what you want. It's just about living below your means in order to save money. But you guys are making a car or more every month. So, well, I mean, like, just because you make money, right, doesn't mean you want to like spend it all. Like, I'm saving for a car.
Pickleball court.
Well, I paid off my pickleball court. Yeah, I just spent freaking. I have to pay more money now. Where I just spent like 35K on putting a pickleball court in my backyard, right? And that makes no
crazy.
sense. It's dumb. It makes no sense. But what kind of car, Mario?
I'm trying to convince him to get a Tesla with a full self-driving because he drives an hour every day.
I do. I drive like an hour to and from work. So the car I'm saving up for is a 1999 to 2001 Nissan GTR R34. And after shipping, importing it from Japan, all that stuff, it's probably around 120K. It sounds dumb. So this is what I told my girlfriend and my friends. I was like, okay, like this is how I know I want to get married. I don't want to get married until I feel like I can support both of us comfortably, and it's not like a thing like I want I'm not okay if my wife works or not, right? Like I want her to have the freedom to choose. So whether she chooses to work her normal job or decides to open up a flower shop coffee store that loses $10,000 a month, like what, like I can pay for it, right? Um, whatever. I want her to be able to like pursue her dreams. Um, I can now like kind of support both of us, but but then I'm like, I don't want to get married yet. So then here's what I said. I said, okay, well maybe after this car, I'm gonna save up for this car, and after I buy this car, then I'll be ready to get married because I don't need anything else. 'Cause I'll be fine after that. So I moved the goalpost slightly, but it's so funny. Uh,
How does she feel about all that?
she thinks it's dumb, but I've been talking about that car for like ever since I met her, like over 3 years ago. I mean, it's like a car I loved in the since childhood. Josh says, "Nice, you'll love that car." Yeah, hopefully. Camille says, "Why do you live so far from the office?" So I live in Tampa, closer to downtown Tampa, and our office is just is not in Tampa. It's like in a suburb. It's like on a beach suburb that's like an hour away from downtown. So that's why I live so far away.
Yeah, I couldn't with kids. I couldn't do that drive.
Yeah, I mean, I just do it. Like I don't whip like crazy. So for today, I did. Today I whipped it like crazy because I thought I was gonna be late for work, but instead my brain had the wrong hour and I was actually an hour early,
Yes, you
and I was
were.
so mad.
Yes,
Well,
you
Trin
were.
saying you were driving a 120K car over 100 miles a day, not 100 miles a day. It's not, and I'm not going to use this as my daily driver. Right now, I have a Porsche SUV as my daily driver, but I think I'm going to change to like a hybrid or whatever. Philip says Nissan 1999 Nissan GTR low miles is 120K. I'll buy two right now. Yeah, I mean, on Bring a Trailer, there's a couple that are around that price, um, but that's how much they are. Um, you can get them for closer to 100 if you like go through, but you have to remember you have to import it, right? Or you have to pay a premium for someone that already imported it. But yeah, but check it out. Like there's one for sale right now, and the auction ends in. I've been watching this auction. It ends in 3 minutes and 30 seconds, and the current bid is around 100K. But I'm trying to see how many miles it has. That's 32,000 miles. That's still not bad for a car from 1999.
Are you kidding me? That's nothing.
Yeah, but this is like a racing car, pretty much. But yeah, I would never drive it. Um, but yeah, the current bid is just under 100K. I think this thing will sell for maybe 105. Lauren says Audi RSQ 8 for me, family car with some oomph. Yeah, so that's a sick car. I love the Audi RSs. I was gonna get an Audi, but I chose this Porsche just because they just came out with the Macan T when I got my car. So that's what I got, the touring version in America. So it's lowered. It has a little more engine. It's still an SUV.
That's a
Cheers.
sweet looking car.
The which one?
Your Porsche.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, man. I got it all blacked out, and I had to pre-order it like 8 months ahead of time. Um, Jerry says, how do you pick your stock watch? It just depends on what's moving. Like every single day we look out in the morning before the market opens, we'll look at every single stock that's moving the most, right? You can see down there right now stocks. That's something that I trade every day. So today's your first day. Welcome. I'll most likely trade this stock every single day. And that sounds kind of insane. And I know how ridiculous that sounds, but I really do trade it every single day.
He does.
Just because I understand it and I know how to make money on it. And then the rest of them are either charts that are into good levels or charts that are overextended. Maurice has looked at that for my side piece. Andrew says, I knew a guy who made millions in crypto in the early days and he never spent it, drove a crappy car, lived well below his means, never opened a business, no dreams or ambitions, and he was the most boring person we ever knew. All of the friend groups don't talk to him because the only thing interesting about him is that he made some money. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think there's a balance, right? There's like that is on one extreme, and the other extreme could be like someone that's made a bunch of money, but spends it all of the time, and is really arrogant about it, and like is almost overcompensating or making that his entire personality, right? Like we've all seen the people on social media being like, look at this $1 million thing or this other thing that I have, or look at these watches I have, whatever, right? Like and then they'll always try and sell you like this course or something, like a lifestyle course, or like it's
Right.
obviously a scam, right? But then if you know people who actually who are actually successful, right, they would never carry themselves in that way. They're not going to present in that way unless they
Yeah, they
are
don't need to.
yeah, unless they truly are just like jerks, right? Like assholes, like whatever. Camille says, Lon, how do you find your levels on socks?
He has a course coming out.
I have a course coming out eventually. It's difficult for me to explain, but I use a couple indicators. Jim
And he's
says,
got a real good feel for the stock.
I do. Jim says, save, share, spend. Philip says that car will not sell for 105K. I have purchased multiple cars from Bring a Trailer and the price doesn't match owner's minimum. It's a no sale. Great condition GTR is 150K. Yeah, I mean there's no reserve on it though. There's no reserve on it. And the bid just jumped up to 117. The bid just jumped up $20,000 since we've been talking about it over the last minute. Yeah. It's 118 now, the bid. Um yeah, but there's no reserve on this, so but yeah, Philip, this car is a pretty sick condition. Um, the bid's already 120, so you might be right about 150. Ahmed says Bitcoin just reached 111. See that Bitcoin's had a rally, nice rally up. Wow, just popped up. The last minute, it's up 0.5%. Nice rally on Bitcoin. Deep says Socks and Lawton are one. Yeah, that's just how it is.
Yeah, I think Bitcoin can get up to 112 before it's big pullback. 112,000 might pierce this double top or this pivot top right here.
I think it's going to, yeah, I
And
think it's
then
going to new
115
all-time
is
highs.
next.
I think 115 is my level too, is where it's headed.
Nice price consolidation, bull flag.
Trinsing, it's crazy that Lawton has been trading by buying a stock in ETF that has been going down consistently for over a month. Yeah, it is. It's weird, right? Like if you look at the chart for the past month, it's just. I'll show you in my charts. If we look at SOX, over the past month or so, and you can see all the crazy lines that I have from when I've been day trading it. But if we just look since,
You know, you can erase those.
what if I like them? Since like it's gone down consistently 26% since the 23rd of June, right? But each of these lines are another time I've traded it. So yeah, I've traded it nonstop for the past over a month, and I have not lost yet. Knock on wood. I didn't lose in all of June, and I haven't lost in July yet. So hopefully it doesn't happen again. Tara says, "Can you go over XRP, please?" And I will in just a second. And this just shows like how different day trading is from swing trading. Like how just because you are just because you're believe in something might go one way for a swing trade, you can trade it whichever way for a day trade. Although, I mean, in this case, my swing trade is going in the same direction as my day trading, but it's not always the case. XRP, let's look at XRP. XRP is going up just because I believe that because Bitcoin is, right? We saw Bitcoin, the huge move right now. I had this nice inverse head and shoulders pattern. This shoulder is a little small, this right shoulder. Sorry, guys, excuse me. But the measured move is somewhere like here to 119. I don't expect it to go there. I expect potentially like half of the move, so 113 or 115. But if Bitcoin keeps going up, you know, the alts will likely follow. For XRP, my next level of resistance is up here around 243, $2.43. And again, at this pivot high over here at 248. And finally at this previous double top around 265. This is a great move on XRP though for the day, 5%. Thanks, Tara. What is your current average on SOX? My current average is 804. Deep says, thank you. See you all tomorrow. Thanks for making me money. Yeah, for sure. Thanks for being a part of the room. Richard says, what are your thoughts on 2 times or 3 times ETFs like PLTU or NVDU or SOXL, SOXL? I am trading SOX, which is a 3 times ETF. So I'll trade them. Tara says, I'm heavy in SOX on the swing, not to screw, but it's been hard to, it's been hard to watch. Yeah, I mean, it hasn't been great for me either. Like I thought we would have bounced already, right? But right now, I'm like 8% out of the money, and I'm heavy in it too, right? I still have a little bit more maneuverability, but I'll be lucky to get my average below $8. But I just have so much conviction in this level, like we all do in the office. We're all long SOX in a swing trade, right? We're all swinging long on SOX. So Terrace's PRTA. Yeah, PRTA is a tiny company, small cap. Not something I particularly normally trade. But if it's with one of the services, I don't know if Drew or something is long in this, long on PRTA or not. Definitely favors an up move considering it just filled the gap and continued higher. Yeah, Trin, that is really hard. I still think SOX is going up, but I know that was really tough. And that was the first time you were like really day trading and Robinhood just restricted you. Philip says, love cars. I'm watching the bid for your gray GTR. We're up to 128. Yeah, it's 132 now. So you're right about the 150. Yeah, only 32,000 miles. I mean, just really pretty car. Clean car. Has some Nismo packages too.
It's got a minute 33 to go.
No, there's an oh you found it too? Yeah. Everyone's
Oh,
it just
every
but
time the bid.
it's 2 minutes. It gets extended by 2 minutes every time the bid goes up. So it might go to 170.
170?
It's 150 probably, but it could go to 170. I've seen a couple go to
Wow.
170. That's why I'm like, I'm not gonna go to bring a trailer and deal with all this because after you agree on this price, right, you have to work out the final deals with the seller, including like, and you got to pay to ship it, right? And it's just a lot. So that's why when I get one, I'm gonna go to Japan and I'm gonna pick one from there, and then I'm gonna import it myself. And by I say myself, I'm going to pay a company to do it while I'm there. Tara says I'm still in from the swing with Drew. He took an L on this. Yeah. Well, how far out of the money are you? PRT. Is he still in this? No, he's not in this anymore. He made money on PRTA, didn't he?
No, I think he lost.
Oh.
Your closed position on PRTA. No, I'm just kidding. 49% off.
Yeah, that's a beautiful car, Philip.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're still in it, I mean, it's continuing higher, but at some point, it's near your getting closer to your break even. You can just cut it, right? Like, I can't really advise you on positions that the trader that gave a trade already cut it. Yeah. William says, Lon, what'd you do to scare Doc off? Please call him and apologize. So he's coming back. He's coming back on Monday, guys. Philip says, I own a 2003 Mitsubishi Evo with 14K miles, pushing 950 WHP. That's kind of gnarly. That's insane. Those Evos are really cool. The new Mitsubishis aren't as cool. They kind of lost their flair.
He totally did.
I know. I mean, some of them are really nice though. Like they have a couple like rally inspired series. They're pretty affordable. Lawton Bika says, Lawton, I just bought my wife her favorite car for her 60th, a Porsche Cayenne S, 220K, great car. Yeah, the Porsche makes great cars. I love my Porsche. It's a really nice car, but it's an SUV. So, but yeah, congratulations to you and your wife on that. Jerry says, are any of you guys trading SPY on the daily basis? No, not really. And it says PRTA is into resistance pivot low from August 2019.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hop off. Lawton, if he wants to stay on, he'll walk you through the rest of the day. But I will see you guys tomorrow.
I can close it too. All good. I can head off now too. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bright and early in the live day trading. Hopefully we can get more trades. I mean, two winners, can't complain about that. But
no.
Yeah. All right,
still
guys.
need to give you guys one. So
yeah,
I'm working on it. Hopefully I'll hit my levels tomorrow. So
you got it.
you guys have a great rest of your day.
Bye,
See you
guys.
guys tomorrow on the charts.
Bye.
Take care.